Hey, Danny from Tug-E-Nuff here again. Today I'm with Niki French. Nikki is a dog-mad, people-loving, award-winning dog trainer, podcaster, and author of Amazon's best-selling Stop Walking Your Dog book. She's committed to helping people with nervous, reactive, or fearful dogs to escape the stress and find new ways to enjoy life together. Nikki believes that daily dog walks are a human invention and they're not always a positive thing for all dogs. She empowers dogs and their humans to find new ways to thrive together with fun, simple training games that deliver real-life results through our favourite topic, the power of play. Let's hear what Nikki had to say. Hey, Nikki.
Hi, Danny.
How are you today?
Really good. Very,
Awesome.
very well indeed.
Great. Good. Okay, so first of all, just for people who've not heard of you before, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about how Stop Walking Your Dog came about?
Yep, so I'm Niki French. I'm a full-time dog trainer, author and podcast. And yes, I wrote the book Stop Walking Your Dog. And it came about, we were coming out of lockdown and I was working with quite a few people online, like most of us took our businesses online to survive.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a coincidence, but I ended up with quite a number of people where their dogs were really struggling on walks. And, maybe half or even all of their walks, their dogs were having some kind of significant reaction to something. It might have been worried about dogs, it might have been worried about strangers, it might have been noises, or it could just been really extreme overexcitement. But there was 2 calls that I remember very clearly, and I said to both of these lovely ladies, you need to stop walking your dog. Like it was not helpful for them, it was not helpful for the dog, it was stressful for the human. And it was kind of the second time I said it, and I knew I wanted to write a book, and it kind of just literally jumped up and hit me in the face. Like there it was. That was the topic. That was the title of the book. And also, my own dog, he's not reactive, not a phrase I particularly like, but a lot of people will understand the phrase, having reactions to something. Bodhi's not an anxious dog, a scared dog, but he gets really overexcitable, gets really hyped up. And actually, it was just as applicable for him. So he's been a really good teacher for me in the 5 years that I've had him, that once I started to play around, he used to have 2 walks a day, and in the afternoon and the evenings, he was a nightmare, to be honest. I loved him, but he was a nightmare. Like he couldn't switch off, he couldn't chill out. And I played around with stopping the second walk of the day. And it was a game changer for us as well. So what I wanted to do was kind of put all that into a book that was really easy for someone that didn't necessarily have any dog training experience at all, but some simple steps, a very practical manual that they could take the bits that worked for them and play the games and do the things, and generally them and their dogs, they could have a calmer and more relaxed life. So the book kind of, I wouldn't say it wrote itself, but it kind of did.
It came from that, and you know, there's so much that's come from that time where there was so much uncertainty. Actually, a lot of creativity came from that, definitely, and actually gave people the space to think about things. And actually, that was your eureka moment there, I guess. I mean, one of the questions I'd love to find out is the reaction of those 2 people that you said stop walking your dog to, because I think that's really it's such an ingrained thing, isn't it, as part of dog guardianship. It's so ingrained.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, those 2 people, I think they were so ready to hear it.
Okay.
I don't think it was the reaction that I get from the majority of people that I might have those conversations, or that they see conversations about it. But I think they were so ready to hear it. It was a relief. And often I think when people have been struggling for so long, there is a part of their subconscious that knows what they're doing isn't right. But a number of people have said to me, whether those clients or subsequently people have read the book, they've written to me and they've said, thank you for giving me permission to stop doing something. Like I thought I had to do it. I thought it was cruel not to do it. And So for those two people, I think they were very ready to hear it, and they were very grateful, very thankful of somebody saying it's okay not to do it. Right, we'll do other stuff instead. This is the
Yeah,
plan. Let's do these things. But yeah, for some people, it's been huge in terms of giving them permission, because I think there's part of their gut. They knew it wasn't
yeah,
working and it
yeah,
wasn't right, but
definitely.
they still felt that they had to do it.
They had to, yeah.
Because
And there is
yeah,
definitely that I think expectation, isn't there? Really, definitely. And
massively.
this kind of turns nicely onto the next question I've got here, which is, what are some of the popular myths or misconceptions people have about walking their dogs?
Yeah, exactly that. And I think it's so entrenched in us as a nation of dog lovers, not just in this country, but in the US, of like, you have a dog, you need to walk them twice a day, maybe 3 times a day. Maybe you come home at lunchtime and you give them a third, you give them a walk at lunchtime as well. And all dogs love their walks. If you're struggling with any kind of behavior, whether it's reactivity or overexcitement, or, you need to walk them more, you need to tire them out. That's the way to go about it. And also, whatever you're struggling with, like, keep going, keep
Yeah,
doing the things, and they'll get used to it. It will get better.
yeah,
Surely a dog knows how to go for a walk. It's like that. It's part of
yeah,
having a dog. So I think that that is so entrenched in us.
yeah. It is.
Definitely, even if people have a dog that struggle on walks, I think it is still quite a mental hurdle to get over. Of there is another way of doing things, and there is another way of helping them, rather than
Yeah.
just repeatedly, the definition of stupid is keep doing what you've always done and expect a different outcome, or something like that.
I think, well, I
Just
think, that's the
quoting,
thing.
but
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's kind of you're always going to get the same outcomes if you always do the same things, isn't it? Really,
yeah,
that's essentially what it is, and mixing things up and trying different things. So, I mean, that leads really nicely on to kind of what can people do instead of, or as well as, walking their dog.
yeah, yes, and absolutely. This is not stop walking your dog and don't do anything instead.
Yeah,
Definitely not that. I really want to change people's thinking of, well, I have a dog. Rather than thinking, I have a dog and I need to walk them twice a day. It's like, I have a dog and we do activities
yeah,
several times a day. And this may or may not be a walk. It
yeah,
might be, I think for some people, it doesn't need to be as, some of my clients have stopped walking their dogs altogether for weeks, months, up to 9 months for one of my clients. They literally didn't go
okay,
out the
wow,
front door other
wow,
than for a vet visit, or a private hire field or something like that. It can be reducing the number of walks, maybe having a day off a week where you
yeah,
do something else. It might be you still do a walk, but you might make the walk shorter. It might be you play some appropriate games before you go for a walk to get them
sure,
in a bit of a calmer state before you go out, or you have a shorter walk and then you play some games when you come back. It doesn't have to be they need their hour outside, whether it's in a park or, tromping the pavements or anything like that. So, I think thinking about the walk as being part of the mix, but not
yeah,
the be all and end all of everything that you do with your dog.
yeah,
There are so many games. Gosh, Danny, I don't need to tell you. There are so
no,
many games, so many things that people can play with their dogs,
yeah,
whether it's for training or whether it's just for fun. The
yeah,
list is endless. Scent games at home are super easy to do.
yeah,
Things like ace free work, free shaping, trick training, dog sports, man trailing, agility, hoopers, hiring private fields. You can even just, if you've got a friend with a garden, even ask them, can I bring my dog round to your garden for a change of scenery?
yeah,
It doesn't have to be something that's booked or that costs anything. Just taking your dog somewhere different, just to smell a different
yeah,
space, can be
yeah,
hugely enriching. So I think there's no end to the things that you can do. And I think for a lot of dogs, if they are going on a sort of straight line, standard pace, on lead walk, it's probably not the experience that we want for our dogs. It's certainly not what it could be. And I
Yeah,
think there are so many other ways that, you can have fun with your dog.
yeah,
So yeah.
definitely. I mean, I've got two dogs, and one of them is very I mean, he's shy of walks, for want of a better phrase. He will actively try and find ways of not going on a walk, and actually, he finds the world really quite challenging, I suppose. He's a lot better in his older age, but so one of the things that I do for him quite a lot is I will just chuck kibble out in the back garden and get him to go and sniff and find that. Or the other thing as well that we do quite a lot is we walk them separately. So actually, one one dog's very confident and will happily go out on a walk and has no issue with being around other dogs and all that type of stuff. But sometimes we'll walk them separately to kind of mix things up. And I think that's really interesting what you're saying about playing games before you go out. If you are going to take them out, actually getting them in the mindset of, okay, getting rid of some of that energy, because essentially if you put them in the right mindset, you're setting yourself up for success, which is always really what you want to do. So how can games help dogs beyond them being fun? So, which is reason enough, I suppose, really the fun element of it, but how can they kind of help them outside of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm such a fan of playing games at home. So, all my client one-to-ones, like we are all, even if it's loose lead walking and recall that we want to work on, we never start out and about anywhere.
Yeah.
You need to give yourself and your dog a chance to be able to concentrate on each other, so you can do a huge amount of work for building your relationship and your bond with your dog. You can build endless amount of skills. Even if your dog is dog reactive, is worried about other dogs, you don't need to be in front of another dog. And in fact, it's way better not to be in front of another dog in order to help build their confidence. Or, in the case of dogs like my Bodhi, it's about helping him grow calmness and his ability to focus with excitement. It might be that you want them to be happier in their own company. Even if you've got separation issues, you can work on those kind of things all at home. It can be, I think a lot of dogs struggle with things that are novel. You've only got to see some dogs when it's bin day and the bins are in different places, or there's a rustling bin bag in the wind, and often they can spook dogs. So, you can really build up their sense of ease around things that are novel, and you can do all of that without ever leaving the home. So building up skills that they're lacking for me is huge. If you are trying to build up skills when you're out and about, you are having to compete with the environment, other people, other dogs. Your dog might be distracted, worried, overexcited, and you're trying to learn a new skill or play with a toy that you're not you're not used to handling, and your dog doesn't really know what's expected of them. So, you're setting yourselves up to fail, as you said. So yeah, definitely skills and relationship building. When you haven't got too many distractions, if the garden is a good place, if birds and other wildlife are not too much of a distraction for your dog, and if they are, you just play it indoors. Just make sure you've got a good non-slip surface, and you can do everything that you want in the smallest space. You don't need to have massive spaces. So yeah, it's there's not a lot that you can't do at home, I think, in my opinion.
And I think that, again, it's about setting them up for success. So, when a lot of our customers come to us because they've got issues with recall, and a great toy for that is definitely a chaser toy. But it's not a miracle. I always say it's not a miracle cure. It is essentially something you need to build value into. And I always say start in the bathroom, because actually there's generally a smaller room, and actually the dog, you can start to build up value into it by kind of limiting the distractions. There's very little around you in a bathroom that's going to distract the dog. Maybe if you've got a window, maybe somebody outside walking past, but it's a really great kind of way to set them up for success. And obviously, in your book that you mentioned at the very beginning, you've got you feature lots of games people can play. So what are your favourite games that you can play with a Tug-E in your book?
Yeah, Tug-E. Oh, my favourite. You know my favourite Tug-E-Nuff toy. It's the Photastic Tug.
Yeah,
I have one in my work bag for clients, and I have one in my bag for Bodhi when we're out and about. But even at home, and this is exactly where we started with it. For me, it does so much. Like, you can fling it. Like, Bodhi would
yeah,
happily chase a ball. There's no way I'm gonna take a ball wanger. Like, he's got mild hip dysplasia on one side, like, but a little bit of a chase of
yeah,
the Tug-E, so he can
yeah.
chase it. He loves to pounce on things. He loves to parade around with it. And it's taken time, but it's brilliant because it's really helped us to practice recall, because he loves a good old game of tug. So he will bring it back for me after he's done his happy bit of parading it and tossing it up in the air and
Yeah,
catching it again, and generally just being really goofy with it. But then he'll bring it back because then he does want the tug. So it's really helped us to work on his drop it skills. So, like, he's part collie, like his impulse control, it's really helped with that. So, like, one little toy
yeah,
can just do like 6-7 things for us. And and then there's just the game of tug. If
yeah.
it depends on whether I'm playing or my boyfriend Ash is playing. If Ash is playing with Bodhi, it's probably just a good old game of tug and a bit of wrestling when you stick the boys together. I try to go a bit more skills based, perhaps.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, I've had surgery on both shoulders, so for me,
Okay,
the bungee handle means I can still play tug with
shock
him, and
absorption.
he's 30 kilos, 32
Yeah,
kilos. So it's my absolute favorite. Yeah, it's my
awesome.
go-to.
Awesome, perfect, great. Okay, so you mentioned your book. I mean, where can people go to buy that if they want to learn some more?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Okay,
If you start typing "stop walking your," probably dog will come up now.
okay, okay.
Hopefully. If not, you can certainly find the link direct on my website as well. So
Awesome.
puptalk.co.uk, and there's a direct link in there that will take you through, but it all goes through to Amazon. So you've got it in paperback format, and then also Kindle as the ebook, and also on Audible, which I
Audible. Oh,
recorded
perfect.
myself. So yeah.
Ah, I always listen to an audiobook and I haven't
Oh, me
got.
too.
That's my best way to consume them. Perfect. So what we'll also do is pop a link to both your website and the book listing on Amazon in the show notes and in the comments below. But thank you so much for your time today, Nikki. It's been really great to chat to you and find out some more about things that people can do instead of, or as well as, walking their dog to kind of get them through their day, which is what we all want to do, isn't it? Really.
Absolutely. Oh, my absolute pleasure. And happy 15th birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's quite a milestone, and hopefully many more years to come. Thank you so
Lovely.
much, Nikki. Bye.
Bye.